of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah.
Hey there, thanks so much for joining me. My name is Ann Perry. I'm a professional numerologist, and today I want to talk to you about pet names as they relate to numerology. Have you ever brought home a new pet and spent what seems to be a lifetime trying to figure out just the perfect name for this new furry friend? Sure, you could call your cat Fluffy because maybe your cat is in fact fluffy, right? Seems appropriate. But did you know that the name that you choose will have a huge influence on the behavior of your pet? So numerology is not just about the birth date. Okay, we have to look a little bit more closely at it. We have to look also at the birth names, or in the case of the animals, it's what you choose to name them, what you choose to call them, okay, the vibration of the word that you associate with your animal's name. So we want to look at the letters in the name. Okay, so each letter gets a number. Okay, it gets assigned numeric value. And what we do is we take all of the letters in the birth name, in your animal's name, and you're going to add them up and then reduce them to a single digit or possibly even a master number. And you'll get what's called the expression number. So this idea comes from the Pythagorean alphabet and can offer some really interesting insights into personality traits. So I'm going to show you a picture here of the Pythagorean alphabet because maybe you want to figure out what your pet's names vibrate at before we go into the examples. So for example, the name Fluffy, when we write down the name Fluffy, F-L-U-F-F-Y, we assign the numeric value to each one of the letters. So we know that the number 6 relates to the letter F. Okay, so F, we're going to put the number 6 underneath that. The L vibrates at the 3, put the 3 under it. The U vibrates at a 3, put the 3 under it. The F is a 6, another F is a 6, and the Y is a 7. Okay, now when we add all of those together, 6 plus 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7, it equals 31. And 3 plus 1 equals 4. This means that Fluffy's name vibrates at the number 4. But what does that even mean? Well, let's read on further and find out. Each number from 1 to 9 has its own personality. So here's what that means for pet names. If your pet name is vibrating at the vibration of the number 1, this is a pet with a name that is likely to be more independent, a little bit more confident. They may prefer to do things on their own. They may even exhibit a strong-willed personality. You know, the alpha dog comes to mind. This pet might often enjoy taking charge during playtime, you know, be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive, and could be seen as the leader amongst other animals. If your animal's name vibrates to the vibration of the number 2, pets with a name that reduces to the number 2 are often very gentle, very sensitive. They thrive on companionship because they're one of 2, right? The number 1 likes to be alone, but the 2 wants partnership. So if you're going to get a cat, for example, whose name you're going to choose to vibrate at the 2, you should consider getting another cat to be a partner for that one, right? Because they need it. Somebody with the name of the 1 doesn't necessarily have to have the company of its species, right? So the 2s may be more attuned to their owner's emotions, right? Really tapped in and can be very cooperative and obedient, right? They just love to please. They are the people pleasers for sure. The number 3, a pet with a name that reduces to the number 3 is likely to be playful, energetic, maybe kind of a little bit vocal, you know how the huskies are always talking all the time. Yeah, they're social creatures who enjoy being around people and often with other animals as well. They don't mind the chaos. They like things to be a little bit busy. They like, they bring joy, they bring laughter because they can be really funny to their owners and can be really quite entertaining, right? These are the ones you see on the TikTok videos, right? Those are all 3s for sure. An animal with the number 4, as we talked about, Fluffy, characteristics here, this is a name that reduces to a 4. They are the ones that are a little bit more dependable, a little bit more well-behaved. They're often seen as loyal and often very trustworthy companions. They might be easy to train due to their need for discipline, right? They really like discipline, and their nature is that they like to be a little bit more protective of their home and of their family. The one thing I'll say with the name that vibrates at the number 4, this often will create a little bit of anxiety with the animal because this animal really relies on routine. So if you feed that, like my dog has to be fed at 5:17, every night. Not 5:16, not 5:14, it's 5:17 every night. And if it's not 5:17, she lets you know. She likes that. Her routine, it says that she likes that. So you might create a little bit of anxiety with your dog, whose name vibrates at the 4 if you're not home on time. If you have to leave them for extended periods of time, or your routine isn't a routine, right? Something to think about. Those with the number 5, this is a pet that will be a little bit more adventurous. I think labs when I think the number 5. They love exploring, getting out there, big adventures. They like to go on the back of motorcycles. They want to go on the boat. They want to go in the car. They're up for anything. Really curious by nature and very adaptable, right? They like new experiences. They don't cower from it. They like new environments. They may be a little bit more energetic than most and require a lot of playtime and a lot of stimulation to keep them happy. Think border collie, okay? When you think of the 5, border collies need to have a job. They need to be kept busy all the time, or they just spontaneously combust because they've got so much, energy going on. The number 6, pets with the name that vibrate to the number 6 are often very nurturing and very protective. They're the ones that love to have their heads in your lap. They like to snuggle with you. They may be very good with children and often with other animals. They make great parents, if you're going to breed your animal, displaying a very gentle and caring nature about them. They typically bond really well with their families, very protective of their families, very, very loyal and protective. The animals that have a name that vibrates at the number 7, typically calm and maybe a little bit more introspective. They might enjoy quiet and peaceful environments. They can often be found just observing their surroundings, just sitting on the couch looking out the window and just taking it all in kind of thing. And if the doorbell rings, somebody will get it, like pretty low-keyed and lackadaisical. They may have very wise, very thoughtful demeanor. It almost makes them look like the old souls, kind of sage-like. They're just full of wisdom. It's just they don't get upset about anything because they kind of know that's a waste of time. So that nothing really upsets them too much. Now, the ones that have the names that vibrate with the 8, they're very confident, very strong. Think Rottweiler, think German Shepherd, things like that. They might exhibit a powerful presence and can be very protective of their territory, right? The 8's a big energy. These pets are practical. They're very assertive, often taking charge in situations and showing a sense of authority. So that you read about it, or maybe it's even happened in your life, where the traveling salesman knocks on the door kind of thing, and the dog wants to just tear his leg off. You don't know that the guy is loose out of jail, or whatever, on the run, or is just not a nice person, not a good person, but your dog knows, kind of thing. And so the 8s have a tendency, those with the names that vibrated the 8s, they have a tendency to be intuitive in that way, and they don't mind showing that, don't mess with me. I know who you are. You don't have to hang around here too long. Those with the number 9 vibration, very compassionate, typically quite loving. They're often very empathetic. You think about the dog that takes care of the chicken, another TikTok video. You think about the cat and the dog that get along, or the dog that nurses the kitten, or that kind of thing. That's kind of what I'm talking about with the number 9 energy. They can be very generous with their affection and may be very good at providing emotional support for people that need it. Often you'll see the animals with the 9 vibration as well, quite good with their food, because it's like they're like humanitarians. I don't know what you call that in animal language, but yeah, they don't mind sharing what they have, kind of thing. It's no big deal. Where they're not, the 8 might be a little bit more assertive and aggressive towards what they have, but the 9 is like, oh, have at her. If you're hungry, it's yours, So again, getting back to Fluffy, according to Fluffy's characteristics, this means that this name that vibrates at the 4, this cat will likely be dependable, very well behaved. If a cat can be well behaved, this will help out, I guess. They're often seen as loyal and trustworthy companions, easy to train due to their need for discipline, very protective of their home and their family. But if you were hoping for a cat, or a pet in any case, with a bit more ambition or a bigger personality, in that case, you may have wanted to consider naming that animal something closer to maybe the number 8. So you can see how the name that you choose can really influence your pet's behavior, for sure. I think back to a few years ago, I had a collie. Her name was Marley. I didn't know anything about numerology. Like I had Marley, I don't know, back in the 90s. I didn't know anything about numerology at that time, but we named her Marley because our family was from Jamaica. So, Bob Marley, I mean, it was a natural fit. She was a female and Marley it is. So Marley was incredibly intuitive and very, very sensitive and almost to the point of being very psychic. I know that she saw ghosts in our home. I watched them and it was really something to see. But if I'd had a bad day, and I was coming home, before I even hit the first step leading up to our house, she was already hiding in the closet. Like she just couldn't cope. If my energy was off in any way, she could not cope. We were so connected. She was my soul dog. And so her name, Marley, actually added up to the master number 11, which is all about intuition, sensitivity, and being a peacekeeper. She was my soul dog for sure. Like she really, really understood my energy and could read it extremely well. So I didn't know that when I named her Marley that that's what I would get, but I'm glad I did. But after Marley passed, I got another collie, which I still have to this day, and her name is Piper. And unlike Marley, Piper came with her name. I didn't choose it. So Piper's name adds up to a 1. And she is every bit a number 1. She is nothing like Marley was whatsoever. She's fiercely independent, where Marley wanted to be with us all the time. Remember, Marley was an 11. The 11 equates to the 2. Okay, so the 2 vibration said Marley wanted people with her. She enjoyed the company. She wanted to sit close to you. Piper, not so much. She's on the couch. That's her couch. She won't be aggressive about it, but she'll just let you know. I don't share my space, right? She doesn't want me on her bed. She doesn't want anybody in close proximity. She's very, very independent that way. Totally an alpha dog. Very, very assertive when we first got her. I had to take her for training because she was a bit of a bully. And that was definitely because her name was a dominant, independent number 1 vibration. So when we look at the master numbers, the 11, the 22, and the 33, you've got to look at the first 2 numbers, right? So in the case of the 11, it's double the intensity of the 1 vibration. So you're going to read the description of the number 1, independence, and being a little bit more assertive, being more of a leader, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, the 2 1s actually make up the number 2. So the 2 in that case would be more dominant than the number 1 is, but you do have to take into consideration both. Likewise, for the 22, you're going to look at the description of the number 2, also the number 4. And for the 33-6, look at the 3s, look at the 6 to get a better idea as to how a name that would vibrate under those master numbers would actually affect the behavior of your animal. So before you randomly name your pet after your favorite beer or, rum in our case, consider checking the numbers. That way, you can make sure that your pet will be an absolute perfect fit for your family. I hope this was helpful. I know it was a little different, something for you to think about. I hope that you'll take that Pythagorean chart that I showed you and work with it and crunch the numbers on the names and just see if it matches your animal. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll share it with those who will benefit from it. And I wouldn't mind it if you would like the video and subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.